Hi, I'm Dr. Janet Hall and I am a practicing sex therapist. So I'm going to ask you a question. Can you remember the very first time you had sex? You were probably alone at the time. Yes, I'm talking about masturbation. Playing with your pink bits. Is it a pleasure or is it a sin? Little Billy was playing with himself and his mother said, "Billy, if you keep doing that, you'll go blind." And he said, "Oh, please, Mum, can't I do it till I just have to wear glasses?" And you know, in Latin, to masturbate means to defile oneself with one's hand. I mean, who are they kidding? Who reckons that if they had masturbation as an event at the Olympics, that they could masturbate for Australia? And men have good names for it, like Mrs. Palmer and her 5 daughters. And come to think of it, you know, why do they call it masturbating? Because women masturbate too, but women don't have a name for it, and some women are scared of it. One woman told me that when she masturbates, she sees dead people. And what about that mum that walked into the 4-year-old's room and said, "Oh my goodness, she's masturbating, what'll I say?" So she said, "Honey, what you're doing is okay, but other people might get embarrassed, so it's something you do when you're alone. Is that okay?" And the little girl said, "Okay, Mummy." So the mummy went, "Phew, thank goodness for that." And just then in the silence, a little voice said, "Mummy, would you please leave the room?" For you see, if God didn't mean for us to masturbate, he would have put our genitals up here. You know that spot up here you can't get at with your towel. But he didn't. He actually let us masturbate for medicinal purposes. It's a bit like alcohol and chocolate. For you see, if you have a migraine and you masturbate, you'll send all that blood that's hurting your head down into your pink bits and your headache will go away. So you know what to say to your honey next time they say they've got a headache. One guy had it all figured out. Whenever he was horny, he'd say to his wife, "Here's your Panadol, honey." And she'd say, "But I haven't got a headache." And he'd go, "Good." But you know, names do matter. And for instance, you know, who ever thought of the word doggy? I much rather call it cheeky because, you know, her back's to the guy and her cheeks are showing, so she feels cheeky. And she can even think cheeky, like she could think, "He's the pizza boy." Did you know that pizza boys and gynecologists have something in common? They can look at it, they can touch it, they can even smell it, but they can't eat it. Yes, now I'm talking about oral sex. Did you know that there are some men who won't give their girl cunnilingus? I was telling my friend Rebecca, who's like Pamela Anderson and gets all the guys, and she said, "Oh, Dr. Jan, I tell my man, go down or go away." And men, you have to understand that very few women can have orgasms with intercourse, but most can with oral sex. So you have a moral obligation to learn to be good at oral sex. Let's try your tongue wiggling with a tongue twister. If you're lucky, you'll get your labia licked. All right? See if you can say that out loud. If you're lucky, you get your labia licked. And really fast, if you're lucky, you get your labia licked. Now let's talk about anal sex. One lady who was 42 and had finally had a baby through IVF said, "My husband is hounding me for anal sex." And she said once, she must have said 5 times, "Dr. Jan, anal sex is not my cup of tea." But I mean, that's just her opinion, because for gay guys, anal sex is a playground. But straight people don't understand that. And one guy even said, "I've got nothing against homosexuals, just so long as they don't shove it down my throat." So, I've got a secret to tell you. I'm not a sex kitten, but gee, I wanted to be. And anal sex is not my cup of tea either. So, thanks for coming.